Hey y'all, Noah. Welcome to the channel. Everyone who reads it must converse. It's Friday Live. It's on. It's been a wild day. It's been a wild week. And I'm looking really, really forward to tonight. I always am, to tell you the truth. These Friday Lives are some of the most enjoyable content that I make. And hey, Christina, knitting books, etc. Said she's getting her coffee so she can be awake for this. She's in Lisbon, Portugal. So I really appreciate you staying up to hang with me, Christina. And Scott and Becky, Bryant, always awesome to see y'all. Thank you very much. A lot more local to me, Scott and Becky Bryant. They're actually just a uh, down the street in comparison to uh, Christina over there. Hey, Scott Danielson. Nice to see you, brother. Very cool, very cool. And Duncan McCurdie in the house. Nice to see you. Always cool, always cool. Jackie Lou's Book Q in the house. Hey there. And Gore Vidal, happy Friday night. Friday night lights with Noah. That's right, baby. I'm just like, oh, done with the work week. Thank you, Lord. It's been a wild week. Hey, a musical bookworm. Happy Friday for sure. Thank you very much for coming by. And the Falcon, always in the house. Thank you so much for coming by. Always and ineffable. These are some of my core folk. I love you guys. Thank you so much for always supporting and coming and hanging out, community style Friday night. We have a lot of fun, don't we? And tonight I'm doing something a little bit different. So here we are. Here we are. Anybody who wants to join, it's in the chat. There it is. Click on it and uh, open up your video and your microphone. Allow that, and then you will be put in the backstage, and then I'll get you on and we can just talk. We can hang out and talk books, talk whatever. I just figured we're going to kick off the summer really well today and maybe do some hanging out. I don't know who wants to hang out, if anybody does. It's very informal, right? So we'll be just kicking it, kicking it. Hey, Moon Palm, thanks for coming by. Awesome. Alan, Big Hard Books and Classics, first long-time listener, first-time caller. Nice to see you, brother. All good. And thank you for coming to the live. And Yasmin to the Lit House. Hey, very cool. And so Christina and Yasmin are on the first of the docket for today. Do you see what I got here? Do you see what I got here? These are going out. I'm not very active on the post, right? So this is this has been this is over the last few weeks on my channel, giveaways and things like that. Christina, yours is in here, ready to go. And Yasmin, yours is in there, ready to go. And they will be sent out tomorrow morning. They will be sent out tomorrow morning for sure. Miss Reads a lot. Thank you for coming by. Happy Friday, for sure. Well, Becky, I'm definitely down for it. You still probably look a whole lot more, you know, a lot more enticing than this right here. Okay. I was cracking up. You guys are so fun. I was cracking up. Hey, Christina, did you see your the Borges poetry, your book? I have I have it ready to go. So that will be sent out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'm getting up and I'm going to be sending those out. Howdy, howdy. Hey, John. John at Hey Y'all Listen Up. Very, very cool. Very, very cool channel. And thank you very much for coming by, brother. Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. That's right, baby. Atlanta, GA. Hot Atlanta. We are hot in here. That's for sure. I just embrace the heat. I've been a Georgia boy my whole life. So I embrace the heat. And I'll just I want you to know, hey, happy Friday, Pax Americana. Nice to see you. I want to keep that. It's in the chat box, but if you don't want to scroll up and find it, I'll put it in the chat box again anytime. Y'all just, anybody who wants to, let me know that you want to join and we'll get you on. I'll get you on and we can just talk back and forth and have a little hangout. I'm definitely down to hang out and have some fun. You know what I mean? Happy Friday. That's for sure. Fiction Beast. Nice to see you, brother. Thanks for coming by. A national epic poem of Georgia. Is that the state Georgia or the country Georgia? I have a feeling that Fiction Beast is reading about the country Georgia. Yeah, I'm always seriously roasting. And like I said, I just embrace it. I've been here my whole life and I just, when it gets to be summer, I mean, even before the live here tonight, I was walking outside and it was just, just walking outside, you start sweating. It's so humid. It's so ridiculous here. So I did pick up a couple of books. Nice. Brother, I tell you, it is unbelievable. This book, Pax Americana, is talking about cactus boots. This is America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hey, Falcon. Hey, brother.
What's up?
You got to turn all the other sound off. Hey. Can you hear me? You say something. I can't hear you.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Very cool. Nice to see you, brother.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming on.
Best booktube show on the internet.
Is that right, man? I really appreciate that. Hector, Prince of Troy. Thank you very much for coming by. Hector, Prince of Troy. First time on the channel. I haven't seen you by. And I am not really watching the NBA playoffs. I don't watch any sports. It cuts into my reading time. And I don't have any desire for that. What you up to, Falcon?
Oh, not much. Just finished the Dark Tower series this week. Stephen King.
Did you just finish the last book?
Finished it. Oh.
Ooh.
Mind blown.
Are we gonna do spoilers?
I don't know. I'm kind of scared to get some flack for that, maybe.
Some people love it. Some people love it. Some people hate it.
I adored it.
Look, you got to turn the sound that's coming out of something is reverbing back.
Oh, hang on, that's the air conditioner. Hang on.
No, it's when I talk. But I'm not hearing it right now. Can I hear you? Say something.
That help?
I don't know. See, I can hear myself.
I don't know what that would be.
Are you using your phone?
No, I'm just on my laptop.
Cool. I'm not hearing it now.
Oh, we're good.
So I think we're cool. Okay, cool. Knitting Books, etc. says it's been very hot in Lesbon. Is anybody gonna be mad if we talk about Dark Tower series all the way through to the end? Hey, Jack. Thanks for coming by, brother. Phoenix. He's in Phoenix. I've been to Phoenix one time in my life, and it was like 113 degrees outside when I was there, and I was not as sweaty and hot as I am here in Atlanta at 90 degrees. So it was like a heat that you could take a little bit easier than the heat that we get here, I guess. But I only spent a couple of weeks there. Let's see if anybody is gonna be mad. Um Christina says that she's finished The Gunslinger, just the first book. And dude, the second book is one of my favorites, The Drawing of the Three.
Oh yeah, for me it's the first one all the way. That one, best. I think it was the best written out of all of them.
What, the second?
The first one.
The
second one was still pretty good. I liked it, but I mean, the first one was just that was some McCarthy level prose that he did, much higher than anything I think he's ever done.
Well, it was very, very early in his writing career.
Yeah.
So I think it was this kind of thing that's more idealistic, and he was, not afraid to be more poetic in certain ways. And I do love the first book, The Gunslinger, and a lot of people give it a lot of flack, that first book, because it's so kind of disjointed. It's almost like all the chapters are almost their own little parts.
Oh yeah.
And the end is just a mind blow.
Oh man, I love that.
Me too. When he takes the mescaline and goes into the oracle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the mind sex thing with the Oh yeah, that was but yeah, I love the ending. I know a lot of people hated it, but
I love the ending.
It was the only thing I think could have been at that point,
The thing about it that is so cool. I mean, and I love Song of Susanna. That gets the lowest level, of all the books. They say any Song of Susanna is the one that's the least well written or least loved.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I loved it. I love Susanna's whole arc where she's just fractured and then comes back together and then refractured, and how this kind of thing works out. And I love the imagery of the Dogan, her Dogan, that she goes into, that's this internal, where she can be like the witness to herself, because she's evolved in a way that is different than every other gunslinger. And they all become gunslingers,
Mm-hmm.
There you go, y'all. Y'all join up as well if you want to. This is an open join. So I'm definitely down for it. But if not, then I'm just gonna hang with Falcon. So the Wasteland, I loved Blaine the Monorail, just this insane AI, this AI that's gone completely insane.
Oh yeah. That one I think was probably one of the best plotted, because I'm not huge on the way Stephen King plot. Well, he doesn't plot. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about that, because sometimes we know it kind of peters out by the end a little bit. But I think that one really nailed the plotting in that.
Yeah, it's really good, and the resolution of that part is really, really well done. I loved it. I think that when it shows that Stephen King really can do a kind of comedic, when he's in his element. A lot of Stephen King's jokes in his book and stuff are just really lame. He does these lame jokes, like dad jokes, and it just sucks kind of stuff. I just read 11/22/63, you might have seen, and there was some of that in there where I was like, these jokes are just like, they suck.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well cut them out. But and see, and Becky says he wrote himself into the novels. And you know, when it comes down to it, is that are you calling that out as a negative, Becky? Because I love meta fiction, and Stephen King is the god of that world because he created that world. This whole world, the whole Dark Tower is his creation. So he is the god of that world. And that's it. And when Roland comes face to face with him and he's a regular human being, like out in his garden or something, it's great.
Yeah, and you know the fourth one really divides people, but that one, oh, that one hit me right in the feels. That one, I think the language got a little silly with
Oh, yeah.
how he did the kind of Shakespearean stuff with the way they spoke. But even though I knew what was coming because it tells you in the first book, oh, it
Have
hurt.
you? So you just mentioned it. I think I wonder if you are aware of the Dark Tower graphic novels.
I have, but I mean, I am, but they're, I think, prequels.
That what they do is the story starts at Wizard and Glass with young Roland,
Oh,
and then it follows young Roland, Cuthbert, and Elaine back to Gilead with the orb, and what all happens with that. Because you know of the Dark Man is messing around with his mom, and the fall of the gunslingers. That's what the story of those are. And bro, it's awesome. It's
I should
awesome.
check it out, definitely.
It's awesome. I mean, it's unbelievably good. And the it's not just that the story's good. It is good, but the artwork on those Dark Tower graphic novels are probably my favorite ever. It's Jay Lee is the artist.
I have seen some of the artwork, and it's dope. That
It's
is
amazing.
Oh yeah.
And he does these beautiful, like really stark portraits of characters, and they're very symmetrical.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, man. How it's so aesthetic. You're just like you fall in love with some of this stuff.
You can definitely.
Just so anybody knows, I have a video on my channel that is a beautiful book series. The playlist is called The Beautiful Books, and I just show beautiful books that are in my collection. And one of those videos, I show a lot of those Dark Tower graphic novels. It's one of the ones that have done the best out of all the beautiful books that I've shown, because man, it is on point. It's really on point. And then they did it does go all the way up to the first gunslinger novel, the first novel of the Dark Tower. But when they started doing that storyline, they changed the artist, and I stopped following it.
Yeah, you can't change the artist halfway through.
But you know what? I'll tell you what. I think that Stephen King is even doing something bigger with that, or had done something bigger with that. I might check it out just to see what the storyline is, because maybe we can talk about this in not so much of a spoilery way, kind of veiled for people. But you know how when Roland has the horn with him, when he didn't before. So it kind of gives you this idea that this recursion is not a thing where it has to stay the same every time. So it's not completely hopeless. That I think that with these Dark Tower graphic novels that he might be doing something like that. Where go ahead.
That was the direction that the movie wanted to go in, but we don't.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
No.
Bro. The thing is I saw that first that standalone gunslinger movie that they did with Idris Elba. That's the one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That is not Roland.
No.
That is
No.
not Roland in that movie.
No.
Roland does not forget the face of his father. Roland does not be not confident, not knowing what he's doing, all that kind of stuff. That is not Roland. Roland is not. I was like, what is happening here? You know? And then at the end, the kind of showdown, and he just takes him out.
Yeah.
You could have done that anytime.
No.
Nope. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So yeah, I went and saw it in the theater, and I was
bless your heart.
very disappointed. Alan agrees with us. He says that's not Roland. All right. So I tell you, this is an amazing book. I have gotten through. I'm 3/4 of the way through it. It is just a killer book. And then I'll show a couple that I picked up this week. Julio Cortázar, Blow Up and Other Stories. Cortázar wrote Hopscotch. That's what most people talk about, but this is a collection of short stories. And Blow Up, I believe, was made into a film, but I don't know if it's an English film or not, because he's, Spanish speaking. It might be a Spanish film. And then The Night Face Up and Bestiary are a couple of stories that have been called out by Yasmin at To the Lit House as being very, very strong in here. But Cortázar gets a lot of love. So he was on we did a top 9 TBR on Instagram. A lot of people were doing a top 9 people that they want to get into going forward. And I put Cortázar on mine because I haven't experienced anything by him, and he just gets so much love. And an experimental writer. I love experimental fiction, Thank you, Hector. Hector, Prince of Troy. You're very cool. And very cool to find me by Steve. And nice. Hey, Brian. Brian at Bookish is in the house. I can't wait to talk to him about it with you. Yasmin. Yasmin is like my TBR twin. She's like my reading buddy from way back. Like we've just jumped in. Nice. MsReads a lot is in the house.
Hi. My heart's pounding really hard right now because I don't usually do anything like this. I just want to say no spoilers. I've only read Gunslinger and halfway through book 2 because I'm doing it as a buddy read and my friend is behind. It's like, oh no, please don't spoil it for me. But yeah, I'm in book 2 right now. So hi.
Hey there. Nice to see you, MsReads a lot. And if you want, I would love to call you by your name.
Sandy, sure. No,
Sandy.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. No, please call me by my name. Absolutely.
Sandy, very cool. And also Falcon as well.
Oh yeah, it's actually Tyler.
What is it?
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Very cool. Nice to have you, Tyler.
Yeah, in case you can't tell by the accent, I'm a Southern boy too, Arkansas actually.
Yes.
I was born in Missouri, so if I listen long enough, my Southern will come back out. Just so you know, so I'm not mocking you. It's just just kind of how it happens. But yeah, so I just wanted to come in and say hi. It's actually only 6 o'clock here for me. I'm on the West Coast, which means dinner will be made soon. But nice. I did want to pop in, and like I said, my heart's beating really high. Hi everyone. Hi. Christina.
I'm so glad.
Hi.
I'm so glad you did, Sandy. Very cool. And I mean, that's what I like to do. Bring people out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, well, it's working. Like my face is all red. Look at that. Oh my
I share books with people and make them think that they might love them, and then when they read them, they're like, "Holy crap, what is this?"
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Case in point, Conversation in the Cathedral by Mario Vargas Llosa.
Did he write The Feast of the Goat too?
It's a must read.
Was he the
So,
author who wrote The Feast of the Goat?
I don't know it by name. I don't know that one by name. I have
Okay.
another one called The War at the End of the World, I think
Okay.
is what it's called. But he's prolific. I mean, he has a lot of books that he's written, but they're all in translation. He's a Spanish writer. But I picked this one up again off of the very strong recommendation of Yasmin at To the Lit House and another buddy of mine, Rick Harsh, who is the publisher of America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots and a lot of other great works. He said when we were talking about it, he goes, "Man, you just gotta read it, Noah. You gotta read that book." So
Okay.
he said it really affected him. So, but it's a writer's book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a book that is doing something very special. Yes, he wrote Feast of the Goat.
Ah, okay. So
You're
my
right.
memory's good. Okay, good.
See,
Thanks, Brian.
this is the wonderful thing about having a group watching you when you don't know, when you
Hi,
can't
everyone.
remember something. You can just kind of throw it out there, and then they can confirm or deny for you.
Yeah. I said on my channel the other day that I couldn't find a book, and then I had 3 different people said, "Oh, I found it for you. Can I send it to you?" I was amazed. It was so cool that everyone did that. So I believe it.
Yeah, there's Yasmin. That's for you,
Uh-huh.
Yasmin. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna love it. I'm sure of it. And then we'll get on some more Losa, right? Getting me into the Spanish language writers. Once you fall in love with Borges, you never go back. I love Borges so much.
Have you read any Roberto Bolano too? I think he wrote like 2666 and stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
then I think this was it the Savage Detectives as well.
Right.
Those books are really interesting.
Nice.
I read 2666. That
It's hardcore.
It is.
I was not a big fan of it.
Yeah.
His writing style was, he didn't write dialogue. He just wrote, and they said, there's no. I wasn't a huge fan, but I mean, it was a pretty ambitious thing, but it didn't kind of intermesh at the end like I wanted it to.
2666 will mess you up. That's funny.
Thank you, Brian, for sure. And when it comes down to it, I've heard a lot about 2666, but I have also just heard you have to read it. You just have to read it because it's that powerful. It's that much of a impactful book on the literary scene. So it's just something that, you know, if you're going to talk books and you love literature, you got to read that book. You're going to have to do it.
That's why I read it.
Oh, cool. I can turn my phone this way too. Awesome. I'm just still playing with this. Yeah.
I keep it sideways in landscape for sure. Landscape mode. That's the way to go.
I need to keep mine in landscape like this?
You don't have to. Either way, you're just getting the same screen time, or you're getting the same screen area.
Goodness. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. All good either way.
I'm definitely not set up for a live stream because I'm on my phone. So
very cool. And Moon Palm says it's brilliant and I could talk about it all night.
Nice.
That's very cool. I'd love to talk about it with you once I read it, Moon Palm, that's for sure. It's on its way to me. 2666 is on its way to my doorstep right now. I haven't read it. I did read. I've been a reading machine over the last couple of weeks, week and a half, and I have read and finished the first book in the Dragonlance Chronicles, Dragons of Autumn Twilight. This is one of the first books, like big books, that I read when I was a kid, and I loved it. And I went into it, got me into reading. You know what I mean? So I touched on it and I read it again. It is the most underwhelming experience that I've ever had.
Oh no!
The characters
Did you
are
just
so
ruin
flat.
your childhood too? That's horrible.
Well, the characters are so flat. There's just nothing to them. It's all just plot point after plot point, action
Oh,
after
no.
action, and there's just really nothing to it except for the only character that is interesting is Raceland. And I mean, that's the only
That's
character I
funny.
cared about when I was a kid. But it's now that I'm the reader that I am, it's so obvious that, I mean, I can see why I loved it. And I can see why, I mean, I would totally give this to a young reader saying,
Mhm.
hey, check this out and read it. Because it got me into reading like that. But there is, you know, very
Yeah.
little by way of merit to it, except for maybe setting up a genre, setting up a type of you know, fantasy story.
I've never read that series or that author actually. So I don't read a lot of sci-fi or fantasy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a definitely outside of my normal reading zone. So yeah, but too bad.
It is something that is it's just not even, there's just really nothing to it except for, you know, that just action sequences. It very much is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign that's put into a narrative form.
3 pages
So-
a night for a month. What book is that about? That Jack's talking about.
2666.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. She he did a video on it that is very good. But I also wanted to bring up an idea, and since you guys are on with me,
Oh no.
throw in on it. So Jack at Rambling Raconteur,
Mhm.
he's in the chat. He's gotten on this challenge that was started
by Michael K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I know what
it's
you're talking about.
a challenge to read everything by a certain author, right?
Mhm.
Hey Snuffy, nice to see you. And I saw his video, and we talk all the time. Me and Jack and I, we have a good rapport, a nice friendship. And I told him, I said, I would never do this. I would never do that.
Mhm.
One, even authors that I love, I mean, I'll read every Thomas Pynchon. I'll read every William Gaddis. I'll read every Flannery O'Connor. There are authors that I'll read everything by, but I will not read every Stephen King.
No.
Hell no.
I wouldn't put
not-
my name in. I would definitely not put my name in and let someone dictate the authors. But I have to show you, though, that Michael and I've been going back and forth about this, and he sent me every H.P. Lovecraft.
Nice.
No.
Oh, nice.
In these lovely consolidated books. And
Those
so
are beautiful.
I feel very much obligated now that I have to read all H.P. Lovecraft.
You must.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I-
got to now.
He kind of threw down that challenge pretty hard with me. So yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna be reading every H.P. Lovecraft whether I like it or not.
I have a giant volume collected of H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
And Moonpalm says that he's reading all of Ursula K. Le Guin. Now there's a good choice.
I feel bad because there's a YouTuber whose name is Duncan. He may be on this live chat, and he asked for authors, and I gave him Agatha Christie, and he drew Agatha Christie. And didn't she write like 200? Oh, there's Duncan. Hi, Duncan.
Duncan's in the house.
Yeah, I felt really bad, Duncan, about giving you Agatha Christie on that challenge.
Okay.
Oh. Have you looked to see how many books she's actually read and how much you're in for with that one?
I look at 66 novels. 74 if you count like short story collections.
74? You sound really muffled. Does he
You're
sound muffled to you?
you're
now?
muffled, Duncan.
I'm muffled? Oh, okay. Maybe it's just weird headphones. I don't know if it's the mic. I would like to see that my.
Yeah, see, like,
Yeah.
okay, so, but the challenge is to open it up and let people just throw out names.
No.
Throw out names, and then you put them on a wheel
I'm
randomly and
not doing
spin.
that.
I'm like, I'm not doing that because
No.
let somebody throw out. I mean, you know, there's so many authors that I want to, even Faulkner, for example.
Mhm.
Like, I will read a lot of Faulkner, but I don't want to read all of Faulkner. I don't. You know, I mean, there's just
I
different
think I gave
things about
Jack.
this.
I gave Jack Steinbeck as like one of the options. Bye, Brian.
You know, the secret to the challenge is you pick like John Kennedy O'Toole or Margaret Mitchell. They only have one book.
Right.
That would be if someone was being really nice, and that's not how it goes. When do we start shaming Noah into doing the spin? Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I'll do the spin on any author that has written 5 books or less.
Oh, that's no fun.
I'll tell you that. I'll do that. Because see, like, you know, I mean, I'm not reading some author that's just cranking out crap.
Dennis Patterson, no.
Like Nora Roberts will just give you every romance novel in the world. That'd be great.
Michael probably got the worst author because he got Stephen King. He's probably still going to write
did.
another 10, 15 novels.
Oh. But he
Darn,
reads
it's
Stephen
hard.
King anyway, right? So he's just going to continue reading it as they come out. But yeah. And then he talked his friend into doing Stephen King as well. I think his channel name is This Just In. He's also reading Stephen King with him. And then David Wiley did the spin twice.
I saw that.
Oh my gosh.
You did it again, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have a close buddy, a really close friend of mine that's been my friend for my whole, you know, since high school. And he's told me, he's like, you know, one of my goals in life is to read every book by Stephen King. And I'm like, why?
It's not worth it.
Just to say that you did it, I get that. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
just to say that you did it. But I mean, really, there's so much, you know, better stuff to read than, you know, at least 50% of that. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, there's so many good books out there, and that's why I would never do it, because there's so many authors that have done wonderful stuff. There's so many books to read that I'm not going to waste time, you know, reading everything by one single author. But I'd love to hear.
That's mean. The one that was just up, Carl. I don't know how you say
That's
it.
Jack.
That's Jack.
That's Jack.
That suggestion. Is it Kieran over at Katie Books reading all those books right now? And they sound just really depressing and tragic.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics says he's read all of them. Stephen King.
Really?
And he needs to catch up on the new.
Okay.
But I mean, Alan is a quick, you know, I mean, especially in, like somebody said, well, if somebody picks James Patterson, you'll literally be reading for years. I think Ineffable had said that. But I mean, I'll read 300 pages of James Patterson in the time it takes me to read, you know, 100 pages of another.
Yeah, read Marcel Proust, Noah.
I would love to.
Aren't they like massive volumes? Like just.
I'm definitely gonna read In Search of Lost Time.
Who picked Daniel Steele?
It's just a bunch of Daniel Steele books he's got back there.
Oh, that's awesome.
There it is. It's right close. So I'm gonna read In Search of Lost Time. The whole at some point. But
that's the one I'm thinking of, like the big, there's like 4 books in there or something.
This is the first volume. I think it's like 6 volumes or 7 volumes long.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna read that at some point. You have to. I mean, it's a landmark work, you know. But I wouldn't want to read even commit to reading everything by. I'll read every James Joyce. He wrote 4 books. You know, I'll read every James Joyce all day long. I really love James Joyce.
I recently tried to I was trying to go on my I don't know if you can see it, my Nabokov my Nabokov thing, but if you're gonna try to be a completionist, I would recommend don't don't try to go back to back to back because you'll burn yourself out. Even no matter how good the author is. Because I mean, Nabokov, however you pronounce his name, Nabokov, you know, he's a master, but it's still, I just burn myself out on it.
I definitely get burned out reading Nabokov. I like maybe half of what I've read. You know, Pale Fire is amazing. Oh, it's amazing. And I did just pick up, and I love Speak Memory.
I want to read that one.
Oh my God, bro. That's the best autobiography ever written.
Really?
Ever written. Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
I love you. It is fantastic.
Most of my autobiographies are limited to like Dave Mustaine and Paul Stanley.
Yeah, Scar Tissue.
He has no. I can't say it now either. Tyler, my goodness.
Oh yeah.
No idea. I'd rather do Finn. Okay.
People talk so much crap about Finnegan's Wake, but I tell you, I mean, I know so many people that are just like, look, just read it. It's poetry. Just read it. Just read it. You know what I mean? Don't think you have to sit and analyze everything and go into every and understand what every little thing is. Just experience it. That's what it's about. If you want to dig in later, then dig in later, you know? And I mean, how many times do we do that with books? Really? And that's
6,000 pages in total. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, In Search of Lost Time. Yasmin at To the Lit House said that she picked up a copy of In Search of Lost Time. That means the whole series. And they've all been released in
Not
those.
enough cowboys.
The Penguin
I agree,
Classics
Becky.
Deluxe
I agree.
editions.
Not enough cowboys in Alcon. Oh, Becky, why
Yeah,
are
for
you
sure.
not on the live chat with us? You should be on the live chat with
'Cause
us.
It's because she was wrestling alligators.
Oh, that's true. That's true. She's busy. You're right. Forgot.
She's so fun, I tell you. I don't know if you can hear it. I had a cricket. I have a lizard, a little bearded dragon that eats crickets, and one of the crickets got away from me and went into my bathroom over there and is like chirping every night, all night. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. So another thing, it kind of leads into what we're kind of what we're talking about, especially with Finnegan's Wake, is I wanted to kind of bring up as a topic, if we're going to talk through some stuff. There's a couple of schools of thought, and one of them is I see embodied by a channel like the Codex Cantina. I think everybody kind of knows who Una and Crypto and the Codex Cantina are. They kind of approach texts in a very subjective way, that author intent is not of paramount importance. What it is mostly the reader's experiences of the most important thing. And I get that. I mean, you want to enjoy a book, of course, right? But I'm more of a reader that I am bent on author intent. Like I want to understand what a work is doing and what an author wanted to do with a work, especially reading these. What a beautiful pup.
So cute.
Oh,
Duncan.
Thank you, Duncan. I'm ultimately mostly interested in author intent, for sure, and what an author's trying to get across with a book. I think if you're reading a book that's not contemporary, even a book that is contemporary, but especially a book that's not contemporary, that you are kind of getting into, that keeping in mind and trying to figure out where they're coming from is essential, So it kind of brings up that question of like what you bring to a reading experience, and do you kind of cut yourself off when you're reading something to let the book inform you more, or do you refuse to do that kind of thing and really just, it's, you know, whether you enjoy it or not, and you'll just trash a book if it wasn't enjoyable for you, even if what it comes down to is you didn't get at all what the author was really trying to do. It's like that it's meant to be mostly an entertaining book, right? Something like that.
So I'm a talker too, so I've let Duncan and Tyler go first because otherwise I'll just talk to Noah the whole time. I'm sorry.
Duncan, you got any thoughts on it, man? You hadn't said much.
I'm a very emotional reader, so I bring a lot of myself to a book. And I basically read mainly for pleasure. So
right.
I generally, it's just like I like it or I don't like it. I don't really like massively go into like lots of analysis of what the author was intending to do or not.
Right.
But I mean I read tons of genre stuff, so it's kind of a lot of that isn't really super deep anyway.
Sure, and it's for entertainment, you know. So it also there is something to be said about it, where it's about what kind of books you're reading as well. You know, it doesn't make sense to say, well, pull yourself out of it and it's about the author intent with genre pieces or something that is meant for pure entertainment. But with something like James Joyce, for example, because that's what kind of was the segue, I think, into this kind of discussion. With that, I mean, you can't go into it. He wasn't writing for the enjoyment of the lowest common denominator. He was writing for writing a literary piece that is doing something different, that the reader is going to have to do some work to get where he's at. You know, he poured himself into that. And so it definitely is something to say about what kind of things you go for as well. And I definitely go for more of those kind of works over, you know, like reading for pure entertainment or pleasure or something like that.
I do think it depends on the book, without a doubt. Like the one that I'm reading that kind of hits that mark for me right now is the Book of Disquiet by Pessoa. So that particular one is one that I have to read pretty slowly and that author intent is very big, I think, in that book. There's no real storyline even in it. It is just, you know, just a bunch of almost like journal entries or thoughts on paper. And that one is one that I have to take myself out of that one because there's not really a story for me to follow, but I am really enjoying it. It just, I can't, that's one that you have to really look at, I think, the author intent on that one.
Right.
In my opinion. But
I'm more, you know, I read because I really want to, you know, I guess broaden my horizons, if you want to say that. But I don't like usually books that, there's a difference between, you know, making a book difficult to be rewarding, and then there's the ones that just make it difficult to be difficult. And you know, no, I know you love it, but Gravity's Rainbow, that's the difference between Gravity's Rainbow to me and Infinite Jest, which I actually have up on the shelf up there. There's, I mean, Wallace wrote his book where, like, I mean, it's confusing, but you can put it together and, you know, and it's really rewarding when you do. But like Pynchon, I just can't really get into him that much because it's obfuscation is what it is. I mean, he intentionally tries to, you know, throw you kind of, and I mean, I like books to have layers that you can dig into, but I'm not so much on the ones that intentionally try to bar you from, you know, getting to the bottom of it, I guess.
That's real pointed. Exactly right. And I think, I mean, if you saw my Thomas Pynchon author spotlight, and when I talk about Pynchon, I never suggest Gravity's Rainbow.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I started with Lot 49, but then I went right out of that into Gravity's Rainbow.
Oh no.
Yeah, I got lost.
Yeah, I tell people, I'm like, look, read Vineland, read Inherent Vice, read Bleeding Edge. Go for those. They're great books. And then and now that I've read Against the Day, go for Against the Day. Go for Against the Day first. It's an amazing book, and it's just it's straightforward narrative. It is all of it, but it is like a quintessential postmodern book as well.
Gravity's Rainbow is on my list for this year too, and this is not the first time I've heard. Don't read it.
I'd say go for other Pinch On before. That's for sure. Because when you love Pinch On already, then you can go for Gravity's Rainbow.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's got some extreme content in it too. I just want to warn you, if you're not into, I don't want to say child porn, there is kind of some.
Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading went through like a few of the things in it as well in like one of her Pulitzer Prize videos. And so I do have a forewarning, but it's good advice. Maybe I'll pull it out of this year and put something else in its place just based on that. So
before the chat gets too far ahead, I want to bring up something that Snuffy asked. He asked, do we think that after an author writes the last word that he relinquishes control over interpretation? And yes. I would say yes and no. That, of course, it's all about the reader's experience with the work. And I mean, especially if there's a thing where it's like, well, I see what he tried to do, but he was ineffective or something like that. I mean, the author can't say, oh no, it's this and your experience of the book is wrong. Something like that. But there is something to be said. I think it was Faulkner that said, he was asked in an interview, what do you say to people that have read your book, 3 times and still don't understand what it means or something? He says, well, read it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, when it comes down to it, if a book is done effectively what the author intended, if a reader doesn't get it, that's fine. And I mean, their opinion is valid for them and probably for other readers as well. But that doesn't mean that that's the final word on a book. And there is no kind of objective criteria for art at all,
I think the artist's intent can be what they want it to, but I think kind of when they send it out into the world, they do lose control of it, because you can look at books that have been, I mean, look at Fahrenheit 451. That book, he wrote it to mean about television replacing books, but nobody gets that out of it because they think it's about censorship and mass control and stuff.
Right. Alan's asking if we should deep dive Gravity's Rainbow. No.
You know what? I think
we should not.
I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Yeah. I'm joking about if you're gonna deep dive Gravity's Rainbow, I think I'll just
not on the live.
Oh, okay.
It would be a series.
Okay.
It would be a series of videos to deep dive Gravity's Rainbow. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I would say, try to enjoy yourself, but there's actually parts of that book that are meant not to be enjoyable.
Okay.
He succeeded.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, PG, I ain't finna read that. Thank you for coming by, brother. Nice to see you. Man, there is so much going on. So, Ineffable asked, The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich just won the Pulitzer. Has anyone read it?
I've read Love Medicine, but not The Night Watchman.
I don't know what it is. I haven't. The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. So I'll keep an eye out. I mean, I don't really go for awards too much, but if something's good, I'll read it.
Didn't she just win like the Nobel Prize last year as well? So
nice. Well, if it's like that, then it might be a must. It might be a must to get into, right? Very cool.
I
Thank you
am
so
gonna.
much for coming on,
Sorry.
y'all.
I am gonna have to jump off now because I'm sure my husband's gonna start yelling for me soon.
All good.
What are we
All
doing
good. Well, I
here?
mean, I'm almost
But-
to an hour. I got like maybe 10 or 15 more minutes.
Okay. It was
Thank you,
fun.
Sandy. Thanks for coming by.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye, everyone on the chat. Bye.
Oh. Get the camera
Yeah,
synced.
we all get reframed now. Very cool. So this was really cool to have y'all come by and hang out. I've never had either of y'all on the channel before, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Happy to be here.
How about this? Favorite author?
Oof.
Cormac McCarthy.
Nice.
Gotta go with that. Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
you, Duncan?
Off the top of my head, maybe like Raymond Chandler or
Nice.
maybe Chester Himes. Chester Himes wrote probably my favorite book, but maybe not
Jack-
everything he wrote.
Jack called you the #1 best thriller reader on BookTube.
Yeah, I don't know if I quite live up to that, but it's very nice.
I'm seconding it right now. I'm already seconding seconding that. So it's on. It's out there in the ether now, Duncan. Very cool. I tell you, there's so much good stuff out there. I could never, really say what. And Bookish Brian says Arthur C. Clarke. I think that's Scott
That's
said
a good
it.
shout. Yeah, that's a very good shout.
And then PG says David Foster Wallace, man. I see, and we had such a read. PG, I ain't finna read that, is one of the guys that read Oblivion short stories with me. And I'd love to hear your feedback, PG. Daniel Backer and I just did a discussion video on Oblivion, the story Oblivion. And we got somewhere where we never got in our chat. We didn't talk it out too much when we off the first read because it's such a jarring and scary story. Oblivion by David Foster Wallace. So on rereading, it really came together for me. That's funny. That's funny, Becky. King's my favorite writer. Ignorant of Borges, I tell you, Alan, Borges didn't write anything longer than like 10 pages. Everything is just like these small little candies that are laced with LSD.
Yeah.
You read it and then you think about it for like 4 or 5 hours, and then you're a changed person afterwards.
Borges was a really a genius with how much of what he especially with the Garden of Forking Paths, that actually preempted real science. He was something else.
That might be my favorite thing that he wrote.
I think it's probably one of the best short stories that I've ever read.
It works on so many levels.
So many, yes.
You have great narrative, this kind of intriguing cat and mouse game going on.
Yeah, but there's a complete different there's a narrative level and then like a subtextual level. Oh, so good.
Becky, you're killing me. Stop. Yes. I mean, well, Flannery O'Connor, when I started this channel, I put Flannery O'Connor as my favorite, like my favorite #1 favorite author. And I mean, I stick by it. I mean, when it comes down to it, I love Flannery O'Connor's style and her, what might be seen as her gimmick. I love it. The ironic twist that just really, she's a master at a short story. Her novels are just spectacular. And Nerdy Narrative, Leslie at Nerdy Narrative, and Una and Crypto from the Codex Cantina just did like an hour-long discussion of Wise Blood. which is an amazing book by Flannery O'Connor, but she wrote it at the end of her college days. It was her first novel, and it's not as strong as The Violent Bear It Away. The Violent Bear It Away is an amazing, amazing book. And I mean, but she's not David Foster Wallace or, somebody. She's not, she's not doing that. So it's not that, it's so hard to say somebody like, what is your favorite writer? Because there's so many different types of narrative and stories that we love, and why we love them is different,
Absolutely, yeah.
Vonnegut, right? Vonnegut has his own thing going on. Definitely not, I love Slaughterhouse-Five, and I love different, a few different books that I've read for what they are. What is that one? Player Piano. It was just cool as hell. And I mean, I love his satire. I love satire. That kind of stuff. God bless you, Mr. Rosewater. That was a good one. But he's not great. I mean, Faulkner might be up there for me. I'm going to read some more Faulkner coming up right now. I'm going to read The Sound and the Fury next month.
Nice.
That's the only one I've read of his novels.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I don't know what to make of it, but it was pretty good. Had a good feel tone to it.
Nice. Well, I'm reading it with Yasmin to the Lit House, so we're going to dissect.
Help me make sense of it. Yeah.
we're gonna get there, because we read and we just go like just like a laser beam into things. I love the buddy reading with her. And then we're doing Sanctuary in August, is a booktube event that so many people are taking part of, called Faulkner in August. And the text that we're reading this year is Sanctuary. So it's on. Very on. All right. It's at an hour and 2 minutes, so I'm going to call it.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, this was great fun. This was good fun.
Yeah. There we go. As I Lay Dying is an amazing, amazing book. Oh, thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Christina, Jack from Rambling Raconteur, Alan, Scott, Becky, Bookish Bryants, Yasmin to the Lit House. PG, I ain't finna read that. Thank you so much, Ineffable, Pax Americana, everybody, for coming by and killing an hour Friday with me. It's always so much fun. And thank you so much, Falcon, Travis, right? For coming by. And Duncan, always cool, brother. Thank you for coming by from up in Canada. So cool to see you.
Warm Canada.
Warm Canada. Good for you.
Warm Canada.
Good for you. And Snuffy Jenkins and everybody that comes by. And we had Sandy at MsReads a lot jumped on as well. So that was really, really fun. See y'all around BookTube. Y'all have a good weekend.
Till next time.
Later, guys.
Later.